Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, Jewelry Forever at jewelryforever.ca, and Beautified by Romina. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
You haven't started the show like that in a while.
It's because the camera's quite far away, actually. So, like starting the show with the mug coming out of the camera, it's much more of a live stream at my place. Yeah, it's literally a stretch from here. Yes, I had to like reach. Yeah, it's not the norm, Regine. It's not the norm.
It's a good morning stretch.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 254 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. I've never said my name like that before. Dion Brown. I've never done that. Sounds weird.
For everything.
I'm your host, the one, the only Scott Dion Brown. Scott Dion Brown. And I'm joined by the greatest co-host in all of the galaxy. The one, the only
Regine Alaina, happy Sunday. I am finally on this side of the couch for once this year.
Yes. And, well, what does that mean? It means that there is somebody on the other side of the couch for the first time in 2024. Should we just bring her in right away?
Yeah.
Start chatting?
Yeah.
She's no stranger to the show. She's been on definitely twice before. Twice before, yeah. And I like having her at the beginning of the year. It's kind of becoming almost like a little tradition. We had her on February of last year.
Yeah.
But I feel like it works well just because it's a new year. It's getting things started. And we always have a great chat whenever she's on. So please give a warm sit-down welcome to Jenna Rose Fitness.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm happy to be back. Happy New Year.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, I'm in sync with both of you. I didn't purposefully do that.
It was, you know, everything's just coming together here.
In sync, yes.
On the sit-down with Scott Dion Brown.
Are you going to say your name like that?
It felt weird. I'm not sure why I said it like that. It feels weird. I've never said my name like that
It's
in my
your
whole
new
life. It might be. It sounds
Starting a
wrong.
trend.
It sounds wrong to me, but how are you?
I'm good. I was happy when you asked me to come back. I thought I was here I don't know, in the summer or something, and I checked. I'm like, no, it's been since February. So
Yeah.
I think now I've come every year.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
it was April
Yeah.
the first time for Easter, and then February last year, which was almost New Year's.
Almost
And
beginning
Yeah.
of
now
the year.
it's time.
Yeah, I think we did talk about having you back last year earlier than now.
We did. That's
But I think
right.
I just think it didn't quite work. I think we couldn't find the right
that's
date.
right. We were. I was talking about my egg freezing, and I'm like, okay, when I'm done
I'll
that,
come
I'll
back.
come
Yeah.
back and talk about it. And
That's
then
right.
what happened was I ended up finishing the whole journey in June as opposed to April, just because the
Just
body
how it
just
goes.
did different things, and yeah. So basically, I finished that in June, and yeah, I recommend that to anyone who feels empowered to freeze their eggs. And then a couple months later, I traveled to Peru. So
Wow.
Yeah.
that was my year last year.
Wow. In fact,
That's why she never came back, because she jumped on a plane and she's like, bye, guys.
yeah, there you go. We want to hear about Peru. Tell us about your journey in Peru.
Peru was neat. I did two things there. I climbed Machu Picchu with one of my best friends.
Love that.
And then I went to the Amazon and did a plant medicine retreat. I did ayahuasca.
Wow.
So that was cool. Two
Yeah.
completely different trips
Yes.
in the same.
How long were you there for?
18 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was away for 18 days.
So that's a
really-
big chunk of
yeah.
time. Oh, Les McKenzie. Good morning, Scott, Regine, and Jenna. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I want to ask about both of these things. Let's start with the mountain first. So what was it like climbing Machu Picchu?
Okay, it was really challenging. I've climbed another mountain before, so I thought this would be easier because it is lower in altitude. It's a shorter trip. I only did the 4-day hike, which is the most popular. But I was really humbled. but it was so hard. So we flew into Cusco, which has like a very high elevation, and we were told to fly in at least 2 days before to acclimatize.
Okay.
And I think if I were to redo it, I would have done it. I would have gone maybe 4 days prior.
So you went. You didn't go 2 days prior, or you did go?
We went.
Oh, you
I
did.
think exactly 2 days.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay.
almost exactly 48 hours before we had to climb. And I did not take altitude pills. I think I should have.
Oh.
But I just wasn't sure if I was allowed to, because the week after I was doing ayahuasca and there was just so many protocols I had to follow, and I didn't want that to prevent me from doing it. But it was really hard. Like, I remember when we flew into Cusco, my friend and I like went up 2 flights of stairs with our luggage, and we were so tired. We felt so like out of shape, but it's just because like there's just less oxygen.
Less oxygen.
So that was really hard. We were just really tired, and then and then 2 days later we started the hike, and we were sleep deprived the whole time. Because so Machu Picchu is very commercialized. It is so busy. It might get to the point where they're going to stop doing trails because it is it's like ruining like the environment there. But it was really crowded, so we had to wake up really early every morning, like 5:30 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and then hike for 6 to 10 hours for the 4 days.
Wow. So
that was really hard.
So
for me,
how steep? Like when you're walking, so it was 4 days of hiking each day.
Yeah.
So like when you're doing that, how steep are we talking? Like I know you're climbing a mountain. Is it like?
It was steep.
Like
it was
the whole
like going
time?
on a pretty steep incline. Yes.
Wow.
And I guess I was just comparing it because many years ago I did Kilimanjaro,
Nice.
and that was a higher altitude, but it was just a different experience because it was 7 days. So that trek was more like kind of easier, leisurely, sometimes almost boring. Whereas Machu Picchu, I did the 4-day trip, not the 7-day trip. It was like
You're going.
I see.
you're going up,
Yeah.
you go down a little bit, you go up, and we had to carry more our bags. So I guess the tour guide told us, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, the government changed the rules in terms of the porters, because we had like 24 porters for the 12 of us, carrying our tents and all the food. We ate like kings and queens there. It was amazing. We were not deprived at all with food. But I guess in the past they would carry most of the things. But here we only had like, I think a 5 kilo limit for them to carry. And then we had to carry everything else. So we're carrying a lot.
Like what did you bring a lot with you? Like what sort of stuff did you bring with you?
So my friend and I actually followed the packing list.
Oh.
So, you bring 4 long shirts, 4 long shirts, 4 undershirts, a winter coat, a hat, this, that. I followed the whole thing, and we were actually like overweight. So we had to carry more.
Okay.
And then when I spoke to the other people in our group who weren't overweight, they were like, "Oh no, we didn't follow the packing list." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But
So
I actually wore everything that I packed, so
Oh.
I didn't overpack. So yeah, it was heavy. I think my backpack was like 15 pounds or something. It was it was hard.
And you're on an incline, and you're sleep deprived, and you're
Yeah.
oxygen deprived.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that 15 pounds felt like 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so amazing though, because we would stop every couple of hours, for water, break. And the porters were all ahead of us. So when we would arrive, they would all clap. And we're like, why are you clapping?
You made it.
You
Yeah.
guys are doing the hard work. Because as soon as they would arrive, they would set up the tent. We had like hot water waiting for us.
that's nice.
And then food was ready. Our tents were set up.
Cool. So the porters must be in like amazing shape then.
Yes. And they do, they'll do this like twice a week.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and I know our tour guide was doing it once a week. He would always joke with us if we were like late in the morning, like say that we had to get up or we had to leave by 5:30 and it would be 6. He'd be like, "Come on, my slowest group.
Oh, no.
Once in a life for you. Once a week for me. Let's go."
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's
It
true.
was fun. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
funny.
That's awesome. Oh, Thomas is here. Hey, Scott and Regine. Oh, yeah, Scott, I'm still waiting for our merch. Your merch has shipped. It has been shipped. I actually got an email. So it sounds like they're shipping the 2 items. Thomas won our raffle for sit-down stuff. So,
5-year raffle.
so he won himself a sit-down mug and a sit-down T-shirt. So they've been ordered. They've been shipped.
Coming soon.
Yeah, I got an email that I believe you're going to get the shirt first, and it'll probably arrive the 24th or 25th.
Oh, this week.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a notification about the mug yet, so I'm not sure the date, but it's coming. It's been shipped, so you'll be rocking that sit-down merch
Yay!
very soon, Thomas. Sarah Vogel is here, and she writes, "It's 11:11. Well, not anymore, but it was.
11:11.
Oh, that's my friend. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for tuning in. And all of you, thank you guys for tuning in. We are here with Jenna Rose Fitness. What does it feel like to be in the high altitude? Like, do you notice it as you're walking around, or do you just feel normal, but you're just tired? Or like, what is the actual feeling like? Because I've never experienced that before.
My ears were fine. It was just harder to breathe. And you just feel tired. So like before we even did the trip, like when my friend and I were in the hotel, I remember we took a nap. And then I remember waking up feeling, I guess, like hungover. Wow. And it was just harder to breathe. I would be taking deeper breaths. And I wear an Oura ring that tracks even like my respiratory rate. And it would show that I was taking like 18 breaths a minute as opposed to my normal like 15 or 16 breaths per minute.
Because there's physically less oxygen for you to breathe. So each breath, you're actually taking in less oxygen.
Yeah. Wow. And then your body eventually acclimatizes and gets used to it. And you become more efficient.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it's hard. And then, having to hike. And then not taking the altitude pills. If I could turn back time, I probably would have.
Yeah. So what are altitude pills? What do they do? Do you know?
So, okay. I'm trying to remember the science behind it. Basically, I just know the side effects. It's like a diuretic. So you have to go to the bathroom a lot.
Okay.
So you want to drink a lot of water when you're taking it. And I think it makes more oxygen travel through your red blood cells, I think. I don't really remember. And then some of the side effects is that you'll just get like tingly fingers.
Oh.
And tingly toes. I remember taking that for Kilimanjaro, and I'm glad I took it. But I remember one night in the middle of the night, I woke up in my tent and my feet felt like they were on fire, like burning ants. So, and that was okay. I just like ran in place for like 5 minutes to get rid of the pain, but that was it. The other effects of actual altitude sickness is much worse. So, yeah.
So did you have to do like a medical clearance before you were able to do it?
No.
Oh, so anyone
That's
can do it.
That's a good question. That's good. It's interesting though. When I did ayahuasca, they did want me to. I had to like give them all my medical history and like do like an interview.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. That's something else. But for Machu Picchu, actually no.
I'm shocked because I would feel like someone who has like respiratory issues, like asthma, for example, would. I wonder how that would go.
My guess is you probably had to like sign something like if you
they don't want any liability.
Yeah. So it's kind of at your own risk.
That's a good question though.
I assume they know. But that's
cool.
What's
interesting? I was like the oldest person that did it.
Oh, really?
Everyone there was in their 20s.
Wow. You're like, I did it.
Yeah. It's funny because when I did Kilimanjaro, I was one of the youngest, but here I was like the oldest. I'm like, wow.
Interesting.
Wow. And she ain't old.
I'm not that old.
She's not old.
No. Rosanna Shaw says, "Hi, Scotty and company," and she goes, "How do you go to the bathroom hiking up?" Oh, interesting question.
Good question. Okay, so so for Machu Picchu, because it's so commercialized, it's like a campsite. So literally every 2 hours, every hour and a half, there will be either a legit like bathroom, kind of like if we were to go camping in Ontario, but they also had like little shacks and little snack points where like the locals would be like, so you see children selling Coke, gummy bears, and then you would pay like $1 to go use their bathroom around the corner.
Wow.
So yeah, that's basically and then when you actually get to Machu Picchu, to like the area, you're not allowed to pee there. So like they have a gate and like, okay, if you use the bathroom here, like you can't just pee anywhere you want.
I hope not.
Yeah. Because usually when you're hiking, you can just like pee in the woods. But here, there were so many frequent stops that you never felt like
makes sense
uncomfortable.
Because it's a very popular climb to make, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, because Taylor, my brother and my girlfriend, we were actually planning a trip to go to Japan before the pandemic, and now we're talking about it again. And the big mountain they have there is... Now I can't remember. Do you guys remember the big mountain in Japan?
Oh, I don't know.
Anyways, I've been watching a lot of videos about that, and they have a similar thing where as you're climbing up, they have like lots of places to stop along the way. And there's even this thing you can get a walking stick, and then the walking stick has a spot for like all these stamps. And then as you get to various steps in the climb, you can stop at certain places and they'll stamp your stick for you.
That's fun.
I can see doing that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I mean, cool souvenir, yeah. But Sarah Vogel, Mount Fuji. There you go. Thank you, Sarah. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. So yeah, anyway, that's so I wonder if it's a similar experience to that, I guess. So what did you learn anything?
Stamp?
Oh yeah, well, probably did you get that as well. But did you learn anything about yourself after climbing?
Yes, well, I guess I've just reaffirmed it. I'm not a stoic. I'm an optimistic, hopeful person, but I'm not a stoic. So I was tired, and I let my friend know that I was tired and not comfortable. And then I knew this about me too. I can go without food for a while, that's fine, but sleep is really hard. So I think if I were to redo it, maybe I would do the longer trek. And then, or just go with a company. I mean, the company I went with was amazing. So amazing. And they wanted us to have the best experience, and that's why we left really early in the morning, so we'd be the first group to get to all these places. And we were very lucky with weather. It didn't rain. But yeah, maybe I would go a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And sleep more. I don't know, but it's so hard too, because then you're also you're also busy packing the night before. So like once you get into your tent, you're still preparing for the next day.
So you're getting up, you said around 5 a.m. You're getting up, 6 a.m. And then what time are you actually going to bed?
Late, like maybe 10. Actually, no, one night we went to bed at 9 or 10. But I remember on the first night, there were so many other companies there, like other camping companies. So even though we all went to bed, you could still hear people hollering.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And then sometimes you are, even though you're so exhausted, when you go to bed, you can't really fall asleep because you're hyped up.
The adrenaline kicks
And everything.
in.
Yeah.
So you found it was hard to get like a
hard.
good sleep when you were there.
It was hard.
Makes sense.
I remember a week later, like when I went to the Amazon, one of my friends asked me, one of my new friends that I met, he goes, so what was the best part of Machu Picchu? And because it was such a recent experience, I was like, I don't know. I guess spending time with my friend when it was over, I think I was still a little like traumatized.
Fair. Sleep deprived.
Now I can talk about it. I'm like, yeah, I did it. But it was like too close. It was too recent. I was like, no, it was just really tough the whole time.
So what was the best part?
Getting to the top, for sure. And yeah, just taking pictures. And we got lucky because when we actually got to Machu Picchu, that was fun because you have like an hour and a half of just walking really quickly. It's kind of like the start of like a race corral, like for like a marathon. Ready, set, go. And people are just walking really quickly.
Wow.
So like you're doing an hour and a half, and that was fun. And it wasn't that steep. But then when we got to Machu Picchu, it was foggy.
Oh.
And we were like, oh, we rushed. And then, I mean, we stayed there maybe for half an hour. And then finally, thank goodness, the clouds cleared. So we got to see the pictures. We got to like take good pictures and stuff. So that was fun.
Awesome. Maria Brown and Michael Brown are here. They say, hello. Good morning, all. Enjoy the show. Good morning. Hey, everyone. Hey, Jenna says. Rosanna Shaw asks, so would you suggest that one should definitely train before doing this?
Yes, definitely.
Get yourself.
Yes. Hiking for this particular trip. And like walking up on an incline for sure. I mean, there's different trips you can do. Like you can climb Machu Picchu in many ways. You could even like take the train up. And then take a bus and then do a couple hour hike to get there. There's many different ways to do it.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, you don't have to like rough it out. Yeah, I did like one of the, I'm sure, 1,000 different ways to do it.
So is the 4-day kind of the most intense way?
Yeah. I did the Inca Trail, which is like the most popular one. There's another one called the, I think, Salcani Trail. I'm probably saying it wrong. Which is 7 days, and that is more scenic and I think more comparable to the Kilimanjaro, where it's like more flat, and then eventually you get there.
So the 7-day one, it's kind of taking more, maybe
a little bit longer,
a more roundabout type way. Like maybe you're not going kind of straight up; you're kind of going side to side type situation.
Yeah, and then it's easier to acclimatize, and
I see.
I'm sure it's not as busy, so you probably don't have to wake up as early. To get to the campsites.
I'm not a camper, and that's the only reason I was like, I would take that little trek up there for a few hours.
Oh yeah, the camping part.
I'm not a huge camper either, but it was okay. Like I was telling my friend, no one can ever call us high maintenance. There was one night I remember there's campsites like to go to the bathroom, and it was like 9 o'clock and it was pouring rain. So it took like 5 minutes to get our rain gear on, find toilet paper, put our boots on, and then we were just trekking through the rain, and we're like, oh my gosh. And then you go to the bathroom and it's smelly because like a million people use it, and it's just, we're like, wow. I'm never gonna take for granted my bathroom at home.
Yeah.
Did you find it was something? Did you find it was something like? So I remember when me and my girlfriend went to Bali, and one of our resorts we stayed in, a hotel I guess, but it was like an outdoor hotel, and our room was like it was basically like a hut, like it's, and it was cool. We got there, we're like, whoa, this is so neat. There's like a straw roof, and like the windows and all the frames were all made of bamboo, right? And like, so the windows never fully close. Like you close it, but like you could just
cracks.
like push it and there's yeah. And like one night we just saw like a mouse just running through our
God.
place. And then like
No,
and then
thank you.
the shower, we got about like a minute of hot water before it turns off.
Oh.
And I found, so here's the thing, it's like first day, this is so neat. It's so like, wow, look, we're camping. I don't know. Second day, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Third day, I'm like, all right, I've had enough of this. Like, I feel like the novelty has worn off.
I'm done communing with nature. Let's
Yeah.
get back to.
Yeah. Did you find that experience like in the beginning you were like, wow, this is so cool, and then by the last day you're just like, okay, yeah,
I want a hotel bed now.
Yeah.
The nature part doesn't bother me. Camping is okay. I think it was just the lack of sleep. It's I'm not a big camper, but I can camp. So that I wasn't uncomfortable about that. It was just the lack of sleep.
Makes sense.
So how long did you sleep afterwards?
I'm trying to remember. Because then we went back to a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just slept normally. I'm trying to remember. And then it was very rushed though, because my friend and I both were.
Next trip.
Next trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I flew out and then she flew out too. So yeah, I'm trying to remember. I can't really remember, but I know I slept well.
That's good. That's good.
Rosanna says, only way to camp is to glamp.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because the company I went with would say this is glamping, and it was, but I'm sure there was better levels. For me, I'm like, okay, next time I need more sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep's very important.
food was amazing.
It is important. Well, that's good. Okay, so that was the first part of your trip.
Wait. Before we move on, would you recommend it
for
people to do?
For sure, if they feel called to it, totally. Yes, just get there maybe not even, go there like 4 or 5 days before.
There you go.
And
to
then
make
take the
sure.
altitude pills. I would have taken it.
But you didn't because of your next
The second part.
My next trip.
Okay, yeah. So tell
Maybe
me.
next time don't do that. Don't do an Amazon trip after, but
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about this next part where you
Let's talk
went
about
and
the
took
Amazon.
ayahuasca.
yeah.
All right.
You said it right.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did a 8-day spiritual retreat with the plant medicine ayahuasca. And yeah, I basically felt called to do that. I heard about it maybe 6 years ago. I felt called to it maybe 2 years ago. And then the opportunity came up this year with Machu Picchu. I'm like, oh, and then the company that I wanted to go with, Salterra, they have retreats in Costa Rica, but they just opened up a new one in Tarapoto in the Amazon in Peru. And I'm like, oh, I can do both. I can do Machu Picchu and then ayahuasca. And initially I was going to do ayahuasca first and then Machu Picchu. But then when I did my intake call, and they just interviewed to make sure like you're healthy and you're sound of mind so that you can take it. The woman was like, oh no, you should not do Machu Picchu after. She's like, you're going to be in a totally different state from ayahuasca. And she's like, Peru's a developing country. It's going to be so loud. And I'm so glad I took her advice because the fact that I didn't know I was going to be sleep deprived and like, I would have been even more irritated after doing ayahuasca, and then because you're more sensitive to things when you come back. So I'm glad I did it that way. And basically it was 8 days and it consisted of 4 ceremonies. So basically ayahuasca it's like a botanical drink that it's made out of the ayahuasca vine. And I think it's called the chacuna plant leaf. And then a shaman, and they call them a maestro, brews it. And there's like a special ratio that you do to make it perfect. And then they bless it. And then you drink it with 2 shamans, 2 facilitators, and like a group. So I was with a group of 12 people, and other companies do it differently. You can be in a bigger group. I liked the intimacy of 12, 13 people in a room. You take it at night at 7:30 in the middle of a jungle. You're like in basically like a yoga studio, and everyone has their own yoga mat. Like you're in a circle, and you basically go up. You take your little shot glass. It's very small. Doesn't taste very good. And I found each night that I took it, it tasted worse.
Oh, no.
And one of the facilitators like warned us, because the first time that I drank it didn't taste that bad. It kind of just tasted, because it's like brown, it kind of tasted like soy sauce.
Oh.
But then she warned me, she goes, it's going to get worse because your body knows it's medicine. And it's true. By the 3rd and the 4th night, I was really dreading just drinking it.
Interesting.
But yeah, so you drink it in the dark, and I mean, you still can see things because people have lighters, and basically the 2 shamans, the husband it's always a male and a female. And like they bless the space with, it's called an ikaros, which is like a singing prayer.
Okay.
And they learned this, and they're basically singing to the ayahuasca plant. So this is like shamanism. This is like Pocahontas. Like
That's what in my head. That's what I'm thinking.
spirit.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So some people refer to it like Mama Ayahuasca as like a feminine plant. It's like the grandmother that's here to show you things and heal you.
Grandmother Willow.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And so yeah, so they sing this space, and you're sitting like you take your drink, you sit down, and then each maestro will sing to each person for like 5 minutes, and they go around in a circle. And basically, they're under the influence too. They also drink it, and it's interesting because when I first took it, it takes about like half an hour for it to set in. I would see like it was like being in the Matrix. You would see
Ooh.
grids. Like I just saw blue, like grids.
Weird.
Wow.
It was neat, and like it wasn't scary. It was really neat because I had, I've done my research on ayahuasca.
So you knew what to expect.
I was expecting it to be bad because some people have, like, I don't know, you just see bad things. I didn't.
Okay, good.
And what they told us was that like when the maestros sing to you, they're basically just healing whatever emotional, spiritual stuff that you have clogged up in your body. They can see your aura and like your
Oh, wow.
your chakras. So they're just singing to you to like heal everything. But yeah, and I learned too that every experience is different. My first night when I took it, I just laughed and blew my nose and yawned the whole time. Because what ayahuasca does, it purges you from like negativity and just emotions you don't need, helps you heal trauma. So I thought it would be like a lot of puking and going to the bathroom. That's what they warn you for. I only had one night of that out of the 3.
Oh, wow.
Out of the 4. But yeah, the first night was very nice. It was great. I saw like teddy bears. Like you mostly close your eyes during it. Like you like lie down and like you have like an eye mask on. But yeah, it was really neat. And then I had my second night, a lot of grief. I cried a lot. And then it's interesting because like you don't realize what you hold on to or what's in your subconscious. I had a really beautiful experience actually where I saw Lola. So our grandma.
Our grandmother. Wow.
Yeah, and like she's still alive and healthy. And I saw her in this vision of like, it was beautiful. She was like sitting on a throne with
Cool.
golden peacock like feathers behind her. And I just got the feeling of, oh, she's the matriarch of the family. And then I had so much love for her, and then I started crying because I missed her. I'm like, oh, I need to go see her. So that was beautiful. Wow. So that was really neat. And then the third night that was my only bad night of like purging, throwing up and just feeling bad. But of course, after you do that, then you feel good. And then the fourth night, I think I had a little bit more grief, and it was just more subtle. And it's interesting because how they explained it to us, because we did the 4-day ceremony. Night 1 is like going to the doctor and getting a diagnosis for spiritual surgery. Because I was really surprised because actually, yeah, after the first night, you have like a one-on-one consultation with the maestros and the facilitators, and they ask you how your experience was. And then if you need a bit more of the ayahuasca for your next trip. And so I told them, I'm like, yeah, it was really easy. I just laughed. And it was I'm like, I thought I was going to be bad. And they're like, ayahuasca's giving you a soft opening. She wants you to trust it. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Like, I'm ready for it to be difficult. And yeah, so night 2 and 3, they say that's the actual surgery. So that's when you go through your grief or whatever trauma you are trying to heal, forgiveness that you need to do. And then night 4 is like, they're sewing you up, and that's like more protection and then sending you back home. So I found my nights 2 and 3 to be hard. Nights 1 and 4 were good, but after each night, even if it was hard, at the end, like when you're on your mat, you're just like calm, and I just had so much love and gratitude, and like nothing bothers you. Like whatever bothered you before the trip, you brought into ceremony, and you're like, okay, you can just see the other person's perspective, and it was a really cool experience.
And I guess like it goes hand in hand too with the journey that you were just on with like the egg retrieval and all of that, and then to like heal and be like free from all that. Everything else that you were going through that's good timing.
Yeah.
Wow. Mike Brown asks, did they add vodka to that drink? I'm guessing probably not.
They didn't have to.
Nature's vodka.
They didn't have to.
So how long does each, I guess, trip last? So you said yeah, like so they give it to you at what time did you say? Around 7:30?
7:30. So it's about 4 hours long. Wow. 11:30, 12. It ends, and it depends for each person. Like I remember when the very first night I did it, one of the guys in my group, as soon as one of the maestros started singing, he started throwing up right away. Whoa. So his body got activated really quickly. Whereas for the rest of us, it took a bit longer. But he also had done ayahuasca before, so I think his body knew
what
about
was happening.
And then most of us, it was our first time doing it. So for me, that first night, I think it lasted maybe about 3 hours. And then I remember sobering up before it was over. And they told us if you think that you needed another drink, it's probably a yes. If you're thinking, okay, do I need to take more? You probably do. But then sometimes they would say no. If it was like 11 o'clock, they're like, no, we're not going to give you any more, because then you'll keep going till like 3 a.m. But yeah, it was about 4 hours long.
Did you ever take a second drink, or did you not need it?
Nope, I didn't have to.
She's like, no, thank you.
I took, the first night everyone got one shot glass, and then because I was giggling the whole time and I sobered up a little bit, we agreed that I would take 1.5. So I took 1.5 nights 2, 3, and 4, and that was more than enough.
I see.
Wow.
And so when the 4 hours or so is over, do you just feel like sober again, like back to normal 100%, or do you still feel a little
groggy?
No, I think you still feel it. I remember I would still feel it, but you're able to walk. So in the beginning, when you first take it, like, you can't walk, so you need help from the facilitator if you need to go to the bathroom or something. So by the end of it, you're able to walk. Like, your legs aren't jelly anymore. But most of the nights, actually, my friends and I would go back down to like the kitchen, and then we would sit by the fire pit and look at the stars, and we were still kind of out of it, but like still safe enough that you could walk around.
Yeah.
Like,
how
That's
interesting.
cool.
fine.
Oh, Rosanna asks, what did the singing sound like?
Oh. Okay, so if you Google, like, or go on YouTube and type up Icaros, it's if I had a good voice, I would sing it, but basically, just, I don't know. It's in Shipibo. It's
How do you spell Icaros?
it's maybe Ekarios.
Okay.
Icaros. It's funny, one of the guys in my group, when we were leaving, when we all said bye and we were all like so sad to leave, he sent us like a playlist of the Icaros, but he's like, I warn you, he goes, the last time I listened to this, I threw up at the airport, so don't listen, like, it might activate something.
Damn.
But it's beautiful. So what they say about the Icaros, each Icaros is unique, and the ayahuasca plant has taught the shamans how to sing it, and that each song that they're singing for each person is different, and even if you were to record it, it would sound different. So there's no two same Icaros. And what was really beautiful with our experience, the husband and the wife that were singing, they had this beautiful harmony, and like it was really neat. But it's basically like a singing prayer.
Cool. So yeah, I guess the best way to hear it is to kind of Google it
Or experience it for yourself.
or experience for yourself. Yeah.
If I had my phone, I would play it for you, but
How long do they sing for? Is it just like a minute or so of singing for you? Or?
in the beginning, they probably sing 10 minutes just collectively, the two of them, and then it's silent, and then they each sit with the person, and then they sing individually, and then probably maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It's kind of hard to judge the time too, because
That makes
you're kind
sense,
of out of it. I just know that when I was having my rough experience and she was singing, it was just like, it was really long. I'm like, please stop. But I knew the singing would help. But
Yeah.
But it felt like a really long time.
Yeah, time
Makes
slows
sense.
down.
So coming out the other side of it now, did you learn anything about yourself? Do you feel like a different person, or do you feel like I don't know, how do you feel coming out of this 4-day thing?
So I think that the most, I guess, immediate change that I felt was that I didn't want to be on my phone as much, because actually for this retreat, we were in Tarapoto, and like basically you're out in the jungle, and like your phone didn't work. So when we were driving up to the 20 minutes from the hotel we were at, your phone just dies.
Wow.
So it was neat to have no contact to the outside world. So whether I did ayahuasca or not, or if I just did like a yoga retreat, I think I would have had that experience. But then also my energy changed in the sense that I wanted everything to be slower and calmer, like prior to the trip and even before. And I'm trying not to get back into it. I'd be very go and like productive. Like I would maximize every minute, like to the point where like I'd be late for a client because I wanted to do more things at home and then get there. Now I don't do that. Now I leave early. I arrive at their house 5-10 minutes early, and I'm just bored in their driveway, because I'm like, I just want to bring more peace and calm. And instead of having to do 10 things in a day, okay, just do 6.
Fair.
It's fine. So I felt more calm that way. I also wanted to cook more and eat more natural foods.
Nice.
I was a protein bar girl prior to to the trip. Although now I'm kind of getting back into it too. Like today I did because I was rushed. I had to work and then I had to come here. But I definitely wanted to cook more and eat more healthily. So there's a lot of prep prior to it and after. Like I couldn't drink for like 7.5 weeks. So that actually felt really good.
Like you meant
The whole
like
detox.
you meant alcohol.
Alcohol,
like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not drink at all. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And what else? I had to stop taking some of my supplements and vitamins, and that I'm glad that I could reintroduce that. I couldn't have coffee, I think, for a week. So it was like a nice detox. One thing I did learn actually when I was doing one of my ceremonies, when it was really rough, when I was purging and everything. So they say, and I did experience it, you might have like an ego death where you forget who you are. Basically when you're like oneness. And I remember I was very uncomfortable trying to like throw up, and I heard myself say, "I love you, Jenna." And I didn't know I said it. I just heard it. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's so nice. I'm like, okay, I know subconsciously I have a lot of self-love. So that's good. That's really good. I've come a long way since like I was like a lot younger. So that was really neat. And I also learned too that, and I knew this before, but it's hard for me to ask for help. So I remember like if I had to go to the bathroom, I would wait maybe 10 minutes before I asked for help. And I remember when they would help me, I would feel so humble, like, oh, they want to help me. That's so nice. Even though that's their job, but like that's just how I felt subconsciously. And so I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I've been told that too. Like it's hard for me to ask for help. So that's one thing I need to practice more. And I'm trying to think. I think that's about it. I don't think I changed too much. Like I didn't go there. Some people go for ayahuasca to find out their life purpose or heal a really big trauma. If they feel lost, if they suffer from depression. I wasn't expecting a big life change because I felt like nothing in my life really needs to change. I just felt called to it and I had the opportunity to. So yeah, I didn't have an epiphany where I'm like, okay, I'm going to change careers now. Okay, I'm going to move countries. Like it wasn't like that. Like I love my job. My life is great the way it is. So I think I changed it a little bit, but there was nothing like...
Yeah, I think you sounds like you sort of learned some more internal things, or like you said about wanting maybe to slow down a little bit more, and
all positive changes.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't recommend doing ayahuasca if you've never done anything else before. I think you need to do a lot of self-development work, therapy. I'd never done any of the other psychedelics or like mushrooms or anything. So I think I was rare that I was one of the. This was my first time doing something like this, but I have done a lot of work prior to like inner work. Because they say too, like 1 night of ayahuasca is equivalent. It could be equivalent to 10 years of talk therapy.
Whoa.
Because you can heal a lot. So it can expedite your healing. So yeah, I just thought, okay, this is my next step. And sometimes people do ayahuasca and then it changes their life and they never have to do it again. I think I would go back. I think it's my medicine.
Nice.
In a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that.
Me neither. I didn't even know that was a thing until you mentioned it. I was like, what is that? Let me Google it.
Oh, I've heard of it before. Like
it's becoming more mainstream. Like I first heard about it maybe 6 years ago with the like esoteric podcasts that I listened to, spiritual fitness ones. Now, or business podcasts. Now it's a lot more mainstream. Like I listened to a stepmom podcast that's super like lifestyle, like super basic. And she had an ayahuasca person come on and I'm like, oh really? Like it's becoming very, Gwyneth Paltrow has done it. Like a lot of the celebrities have done it. So I think it's becoming more mainstream, which is great because then the tradition will continue. Because eventually, if the Westerners don't participate,
it'll die down.
It will eventually, this vocal, they call it, it's a vocal tradition. It will eventually disappear. So it's nice that
because they need people to continue to support it. I guess, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Cool.
So is it something you would recommend then for people to do?
Only if you feel called to. It's also very like, I don't want to say dangerous, but it's hard.
It's hard on you.
It's not
a
a
lot.
vacation.
Yeah.
It's not a vacation. It's the complete opposite of like escapism. Like if you're troubled and you want to distract yourself, you either drink or like you'll go for a run, you'll be a workaholic. This is the complete opposite. You totally get embodied with everything. There's no escapism, and you can't. And it's like being on a roller coaster. Like when you're in it, you can't turn it off. So, and they say too, if you're in hell, just keep going. Don't worry. If ayahuasca is showing you this, if it's coming up, it's going out. and it's healing.
Wow.
So I knew all these things before I went in. So when I was having my hard experience of throwing up, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. But you can't. It's like being on a roller coaster. You can't jump out. So,
Wow.
but then it eventually leaves, and then you feel a lot better.
So do you, because you're in a group of like 12, 13 people, do you hear everyone else's experience?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Does
So
that-
sometimes it's a little. There were people in my group who had gone to bigger groups prior, where there was like 100 people in a room. I don't know.
That would be overly
Yeah.
Sounds chaotic.
stimulating.
Yeah.
That would be really hard. This was only like 12, 13 people. So yeah, you do hear things. And like the next day I would have people come up to me. Oh, I was sending you so much love because you were struggling. I'm like, yeah, because I was crying. Or that one night when I was laughing a lot, the next day people were like, you really helped me. Hearing you laugh helped me during my journey.
That's
So it's
good.
neat. So like, yeah, because it was a small enough group that we all knew each other. But it's interesting the way that they place you in the circle. If you went with a friend, they would make sure, or like your spouse, they would make sure you're far away because they don't want your energy interfering, or they don't want you to feel compelled to touch them. Like, we're
Fair.
allowed, like, don't touch anyone. The facilitators will do that if they need help. And it was interesting too, because in my group there were 7 men and like 5 women, and I always thought, like, for spiritual stuff, it's usually the women that feel called to it, not the men. I was really impressed. So, but that when they would space us out, it would be guy, girl, just for the energy to be balanced. But yeah, you hear everything.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it's really cool experience.
it's cool. And you don't have to be spiritual to do this. I did this because I'm spiritual, but there were people in my group who were like self-declared, I'm secular, but I want to experience this.
That's cool.
So
It's really interesting.
I have heard a lot of talk about, like, not even just specifically ayahuasca, but just there's a lot of talk now about the things that you can, the parts of your brain that you can access through psychedelic drugs, and like a lot of things that
just
people
for
like
therapy
learn about themselves.
and
Yeah.
depression. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why, like, for example, I think it's like why marijuana has been illegal for so long, but now, like, that it's finally starting in Canada, it's legalized, and like the attitudes about it in, like, say, the US are changing, and they're actually starting to like do actual studies on some of this stuff, and they're actually seeing that there are actual medical benefits, a lot of benefits from marijuana and then other psychedelic drugs. So I think it's good that they're finally starting to actually look at this stuff. And like you mentioning how even the ayahuasca thing is becoming more like, people are talking about it more in a mainstream setting.
Yeah.
I think that's another part of it, is it's that finally we're starting to be like, oh, there's actually a lot about the mind we don't know, and that, you know, these things can, well, benefit, or at least
Yeah, because
help
it
us.
rewires your brain in a different way. I know ayahuasca is not good for your brain to do it too often, and your brain does need to recover from it. But
Yeah.
I think if you do it, I don't know, once a year or maybe twice a year, it's okay. You don't want to do it every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it like rewires your brain. And
And it sounds like the maestros are a very important part of it, right? In that kind of
Like, you
helping
can't just do
guide
it
you
on
through
your
it.
own.
Yeah, and guide you through the experience as well, even safely and everything.
yeah,
So,
that's one thing. If you do feel called to do it, make sure you go with a company that's has a really good reputation. Because we've heard too, like you could go to New York City and do ayahuasca in someone's like apartment. I would not do it. You couldn't pay me to do that. Like, that can be so dangerous, and especially because you're opening up to like the other realm. Like, you want protection and everything. But yeah, there are bad stories with it too. If you
Yeah.
don't go with a responsible shaman. So yeah, you have to make sure. Go with Solterra. That's a very good company.
Do your research.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're in a safe environment. Because it's not something to be played with. Like, if this is like there's reverence for it. This is like, because when I did my intake call, I asked the woman, I said, I haven't done mushrooms. Like, am I supposed to do like LSD and all these other things before this? And she's like, no, we have a lot of first time drinkers. And she's like, this is not biohacking. This is not like whatever. She goes, this is a vocal tradition passed down from grandmother to grandchild. This is shamanism. This is plant medicine. This is not just a drug to get high or whatever. Like, this is different. There has to be a respect for it. So I liked that. I'm like, yeah.
wow, very
safe.
interesting.
It's so interesting that you said it was like from grandmother to granddaughter, and you did see your Lola in the process.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's so cool.
So cool.
Did you tell her?
No, I didn't tell her. I don't think she knows I did this. Okay. She might not like that. She's Catholic, so I don't know.
She'd be like, Jenna.
You know what was neat too, actually, Scott? I saw Lolo, so our grandpa,
Oh, wow.
too, that same night, and it was different. I saw him. The vision was I saw him. His back was towards me. He was sitting in a chair, and he was inside this like zip up plastic bag, and so I unzipped it to go in to say hi, and then I embodied him. So I felt like I was Lolo. I felt stubborn and stoic and strong. So I didn't say hi. Maybe I said hi to him, but like he didn't talk to me or anything. I just saw the back of his head, and then like I felt like I was Lolo, and I was like, "This is cool. This is oneness."
Wow.
Wow.
Isn't that neat? So
Yeah.
and they say your ancestors come in and everything. So that was
And
neat.
they did.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Wow. Transformative experience.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it was neat.
So now it makes sense to why you should have not done Machu Picchu right after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad she told me that, because initially too, because they don't offer these retreats every week, and if I wanted to do the 5-day or the 5-day versus the 8-day, she completely convinced me like, no, do the 8-day one since this is your first time. So you have the 4 days as opposed to doing 3 days of ayahuasca. She's like, that's more of a triangle, that will be harder on you. And then she's like, do not do Machu Picchu before or after. Because I guess she said like 15 years ago, she did that with her group and it was a mistake because everyone was more sensitive and everything. So yeah, I'm glad I did it in that order. In a perfect world, I would have had more time in between.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be efficient with my vacation days.
So in general, would you recommend like to people to say, like, do you think Machu Picchu and the ayahuasca thing, are they something that should be kind of done on the same trip? Or do you think now maybe next time I would do like, this would be the ayahuasca trip and then I would do like, or what do you think?
I think I would still do it in the same trip. So there's one plane ride, but have more time in between. Maybe take a few days off. Like I think I took 1 or 2 days off. I would take
Like a week.
maybe a week. Yeah. But like there's no need to do 2 flights. And you know what's interesting? When I did Machu Picchu, every other person that was on that trip had a second leg to their trip.
Oh.
Yeah, so even if I just went for Machu Picchu there and back, I would have been the only one who did that. But everyone else had like a second or third trip.
Cool.
So, because yeah, it's a long flight. You might as well.
Yeah.
Make the most
How long was the flight from Toronto?
Okay, so there's no direct flight anymore
Oh, okay.
to Lima. So it took my friend and I think 24 hours to get there. But we had fun. We did an 11-hour layover in Cancun.
Oh,
nice.
So that made it a little cheaper, and it was fun.
Yeah.
So we got to go to the beach and have a good meal. But yeah, it took like a full day, and then, I mean, you could get a shorter one, but then the layover would only be an hour and a half in the States, and I'm like, no, I'm not risking missing my flight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it took about a day to get there.
At least you got to explore. You had 2 trips in one.
Yeah. I got to.
Go to
I can say now
Cancun.
I've been to Mexico, even though it was
Yeah.
only like 11 hours.
Yeah. Oh, was that your first time in Mexico? Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Very interesting.
Little girl trip.
We should probably do the ads.
Yes, we
Look at
should.
that. We've talked for almost an hour.
She did
Straight
say she
up.
could talk
told you,
about
like,
it for
I
an
could
hour.
talk about it for a long time.
That was really interesting. It's cool. All right, let's do the ads. Ladies and gentlemen, today's very special episode of The Sit Down was brought to you by the following fantastic advertisers who make this show possible. Let's meet them. The Toronto real estate market is growing and changing every day. In these challenging times, you need someone in your corner. Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, is committed to looking out for you. She'll go the extra mile to ensure that you have all the information you need to make a decision you can feel confident about. Purchasing a home is one of the biggest financial investments you'll make in life. Don't leave it to chance.
No.
Call Jeanette McKenzie at Forest Hill Signature. She's my realtor. That's right. The place I'm in right now. She helped me find it. And the one before that, actually. She's my realtor. She could be yours. Call today at 416-523-0408 or email at jmckenziehomes@gmail.com. Jewelry Forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, custom laser engravings, and they change watch batteries, all done on site. Jerry at Jewelry Forever, fantastic artist. He can repair anything. We saw a video on his TikTok. A ring had been crushed flat by a car, and he brought it back to its former glory.
I was actually at that mall yesterday. I
Yeah.
totally forgot. They have a 50% off sale right now.
There you go. And even better, 50% off sale right now. And if you mention the show, we got a great deal with them, don't we, Regine?
Yes, we do. If you go into this shop and let them know that Scott and Regine sent you, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's right, people. So head on in there. You're bound to find something beautiful for the person in your life.
Or yourself.
Or yourself. Hey, why not, you know? And follow them on Instagram, follow them on TikTok, because a lot of really cool videos. They're blowing up on TikTok. I think he's got a few 100,000 subscribers on there just because of how interesting the work he does and how beautiful it is.
And Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
There you go.
So 50% off plus, I don't know if the 15% will be on top of that.
It will.
Too.
Actually, I probably would be.
Maybe.
Why not? Mention the show.
There you go.
Check with him first.
Yeah,
Probably
maybe.
shouldn't say it definitely will. I don't know.
Ask Jerry.
Yeah, there you go. Jewelryforever.ca. Find out more. Beautified by Romina.
Internationally trained hair and makeup artist. She is the official hair and makeup artist of the Sit Down. Not only does she do our hair and makeup for our photo shoots, but also when we are live on stage.
Yep.
She also does engagement photos, weddings,
Red
pageants.
carpets.
Yeah.
Anywhere you need to go where you need to be beautified.
She's got you covered. Reach out to her on Instagram and Facebook at Beautified by Romina.
And if you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy, isn't it, Regine?
It's simple. All you have to do is email us at radioshowad, that's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right. We do this show live every week, people, and we also do the ads live week to week. What does that mean? It means you can personalize them week to week. Do you have a sale? Do you have a sale, like a 50% sale, for example, like at Jewelry Forever? Or do you have something happening at a particular time, particular place? You let us know. We let your potential client base know in real time. It's a great way to build a brand new relationship with a brand new audience. Get in touch. Radio Show Ad, radioshowad@gmail.com. And we're back.
We're back.
Hi, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we are here with Jenna Rose Fitness. One thing I wanted to quickly mention. On Friday night,
Great segue.
Well, that's a perfect segue, yeah. Speaking of transformative experiences.
There you go.
I mean, it wasn't that, but my brother sent me a thing on Instagram. He saw an ad they were showing the original Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, in a theater. Because apparently Friday was National Popcorn Day.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I got an
apparently.
email from Cineplex.
Oh, there you go. It's National Popcorn Day. And this thing was like, hey, this theater was showing Star Wars. It's called the Fox Theater in the Beaches, or I guess the Beach, as they're trying to rebrand themselves. I still say the Beaches, though. Anyway, have you guys ever been to the Fox Theater?
No.
It's like an old school theater. Like you walk in the front door. For starters, there's only one screening room. You walk in, it's one screening room. At the front, they have like the really old classic popcorn machine. Like it really feels like you're watching movies from
Black
in the
and
past. They did show some black and white movies, yeah, but it's like the old style theater, the kind that, we would have grown up, and they were showing Star Wars one night only, 9:15 p.m. screening, and the entire theater was completely sold out. Like it was completely sold out screening. So I'm glad I ordered the tickets like a few days early.
Yeah.
But when we actually got to the theater, it said sold out. We went there early. I ended up being first in line. There was a huge line. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's good.
I would have been like the last in line.
Yeah. Well, it was also, remember, like, because theaters, like nowadays, you can buy your ticket and you pick your seat, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't used to be like that. So, like, if you wanted to get a good seat, you had to line up, So there was a huge line of people. But, I will say, honestly, I think it was, I was trying to think if it actually was the best, but it might have been the best movie theater experience I've ever had.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something special about it in that, one, I haven't seen that original Star Wars movie in a theater, I think, since I was like 12 years old. I'm pretty sure that's the last time I saw it in a theater,
In an old school theater like that?
Well, yeah. Yes, but that movie. But here's the funny, crazy thing about it is like, I think I said it on the show, how I was like, we were talking about the old Star Wars movies. I was like, yeah, Episode 4, like, of all the movies, I think I said, like, pacing wise, it was made in the 70s. The pacing's not quite the same. It's a bit slower. It's harder to get into it. Like, these are things that I said. And I don't know. It was like when I walked in watching it in a theater, and especially watching it with a crowd of people who were all big fans.
Yeah.
It was not for starters, it didn't feel slow at all. Like it was just like I was completely hooked. And I actually found myself, so
Did you cry?
I didn't cry, but I almost did. In fact, I remember, so the opening, obviously Star Wars starts, the Star Wars logo, right? That happened, it hits, right? And it was so loud, the whole crowd cheered when that happened.
Oh, that's
right?
neat.
And I cheered too. And I suddenly felt like, I felt emotional. Like
It was
I
a
felt
transformative.
yes, like because it really did throw me
Whole
back
body
to like to like 12-year-old me watching this movie, because I remember that experience of watching it that first time and the audience cheering, and it was so interesting how even scenes in the movie that obviously I've seen the movie a million times, but there were, I guess, watching it in that setting. And maybe it was like a completely undistracted setting, and everybody's completely in it. Like suddenly I found like even the moments, like the sad moments, like for example, like Luke Skywalker's like family gets killed, right? That happens.
Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry everybody, right? Spoiler. You should watch it though. But like I remember, like it was always something that I knew happened, but somehow watching it in this setting, and maybe I hadn't seen it in a while, it was like it was just suddenly way more emotional. I was like, I just was feeling it so much more.
Yeah.
And I remember like it ended, and I was like, for starters, I was laughing. I was openly laughing at the funny parts. Even though I knew the jokes were coming, I laughed. The audience laughed. My girlfriend laughed, right? We were just like, it was such an amazing experience. And it ended, and I was like, I really feel like I just experienced something special. Like it was something really special.
That's cool.
So nice.
Do you think it's because you were actually in a theater that film itself was meant to be played in?
I think yes.
Like if it was played at, let's say, like Cineplex, do you think you'd have the same experience, or is it because like the setting and?
Well, like the setting definitely helped, because one thing I noticed was like the way they do this theater. I noticed, for example, like like they play at the beginning of movies, like
Previews?
like an ad. There had some previews, but like more like the ad to like that there's buy concessions and stuff and like things like that. They played the old ones. So like the old
like
song.
I got a drive-in.
Yeah, like the 1950s when let's all go to the lobby. That one with like the walking hot dog and everything. That's like the old 1950s thing that they used to play. They played that video.
Cute.
Neat.
And then there was a second video they played that was like, to telling you to turn, like, don't talk during the movie, all this stuff. But I recognized it. It must have been from like, I'm not even sure where I would have seen it, but it was like an old one from like maybe when we were kids, but they're still using that old one. So I think they really set the stage that you're feeling like this old timey thing. And then I think the other thing that made the biggest difference was the audience. Like there's something infectious, like when you're watching something and then the whole audience laughs, you can't help but laugh with them, So it just, it was so, I don't know, like it was just so interesting watching. I felt like I was actually seeing the movie, as it was meant to be seen. It was...
He healed his inner child.
It really did.
Very good. Yeah, we have to do things to help our inner child. So that's great.
There you go.
It just blew me away. I was like, wow. I was just feeling things that I think I hadn't felt in so, I don't know, long. It kind of was a transformative experience, actually. I was joking, but it kind of was, actually. I was just surprised. I was surprised that when that title crawl rolled and the audience cheered, and I was sitting there with them, and like the music was so good, and even the whole opening scene. For starters, I forgot how that whole opening sequence from like the title scroll all the way up until like the droids blast out on the escape pod. The music in that whole sequence is so good. I forgot how good it is. I don't know. I really did get like I didn't cry, but I felt like
You got emotional.
it was like, wow.
Full
like,
body chill.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like I remembered, oh, this is why why 12-year-old me was so obsessed with these movies. Like, this is why. And then while I was there in line, like other people, there were kids there, little kids being brought in. I was like, I wonder if they're going to experience something like this too. Like maybe they don't even realize what's
going to
about to happen.
happen.
But it was so, it was magical.
I love that for you. It was kind of similar to like when my mother-in-law, because we took her to Disney World, and she's also like a huge Star Wars fan, like Scott is. And so when because we were in line for Darth Vader, and that's like her favorite. And the moment she saw him, she's like, I could have cried. And I was like, oh, so it's the same feeling.
Yeah, it was. And I didn't really understand it. And I almost feel like I said, I remember I've said on the show before, like, oh yeah, episode 4, if you're showing it to people,
Not my
like,
favorite.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's still, no, you know what? Empire Strikes Back is my favorite, but you're right. It was that I said before, oh yeah, it's a little bit slower, it's a bit harder. Maybe kids today may not like it, but I
Those
don't know.
kids did.
That's the thing. There was something about, like, I remember, here's the thing. On the way to the theater, I remember thinking in my head, this will be cool to see because I haven't seen episode 4 on a big screen. But, I was expecting to almost, again, like sometimes when you watch an old thing and it doesn't hold up in the same way. So you're like, you're kind of watching it with like, it's neat that I'm seeing this. It's kind of nostalgic, but like, it's not as good as like what, you know what I mean? But this was like, I was like, wow, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
So are they going to show all of the Star Wars films?
I don't know. So what's cool about this theater is like so they have modern movies running in it, like, but like they've got a whole bunch of classic movies just lined up, and you only see what their program is for like maybe the next month. So like I know, I'm actually thinking going back. So February 14th, they're showing the movie Ghost. Have you seen Ghost?
Neat. Yes, well, a long time ago. I have to watch it again.
With Patrick Swayze. So they're showing it as like a
You should go
Valentine's
with
Day.
them.
Should.
Well, yeah, it's like, but I feel like it's neat because when they only have one night, it's like anybody who wants to see it goes. That's why like this theater, like it was completely full. And I can't remember actually even the last time I watched a movie completely full like that. And then it's so cool to see a crowd of people who are actually really love what you're watching. So it was such a cool moment. The guy sitting next to me, full grown adult, he had like a toy Millennium Falcon with him, and he just
Surprised
brought
you didn't bring your lightsaber.
I honestly, I was actually going to. I was going to. The only reason I didn't.
Bring him?
I should have brought little Grogu. I know. Yeah. The only reason I didn't bring my lightsaber, 100%, I was going to bring it, and I was like, oh, I wish I had like a carrying bag for it.
A satchel.
Yeah. So then when I got home that night, I ordered a bag.
Oh my God, of course you did.
You're ready for the next showing.
Yeah.
In 6 months or whatever they do.
It's actually a bag made for transporting like swords. Like if you,
course
I
you
guess some
would
people
buy
have like
one.
samurai swords. I guess they need a
Yeah.
way to transport it. So it was like
Scott.
I bought it, and then it's funny in the comments on Amazon about it. It's like there's a lot of people like, oh yeah, I wish it holds my whatever katana or whatever, blah blah blah, or all these other things. And then people are like, great for my lightsaber, holds 2. I'm like, all right, good.
So
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm not the only one, but anyway, it was pretty special. It was special. The Fox Theater.
So, question: how early were you to be the first in line?
Actually, it was perfect timing. So we wanted to have dinner over there first. There was a little ramen noodle place there.
Nice.
So we went to dinner around just after 7. We got to so the screening was 9:15. We walked into the theater like a couple minutes after 8:30. And I got there, and there was a guy checking people in. Oh, your last name? Yep. Okay, great. You're checked in. Okay, you line up here. And like, so I was first in line, and like immediately after, like a minute later, people walked in, and then like 5 minutes later, there was a huge line behind me. So I think everybody was kind of like had the same idea. I was just lucky I got there first.
So where'd you sit?
I picked seats that were close-ish to the front, but not completely close. Maybe 6 or 7 rows back, and right in the middle. So I got
You have
perfect
to be in
seats.
the middle.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was great. But it's a really nice theater. And I was actually surprised too, because it was an older style theater, but like there was so much leg room. I was surprised how much leg room, and the seats were nice and comfortable. They're not super high. Like it's not like, although my girlfriend, she could lean back, but I guess I was taller, so I couldn't. But this is the older style seats, but they were still like comfortable, and it was roomy, and it was.
Did you wear your Star Wars merch?
I did. I wore a Star Wars shirt, and I wasn't the only one. And it was just funny because I chatted with the guy next to me, and he was sitting there. Like I didn't mention the Millennium Falcon to him, but he was like a full-grown man, and he's sitting there with his Millennium Falcon sitting there.
You are
Wait,
a
is it like a
full-grown
toy or
man
a
too,
plush?
though.
Toy. So
Oh,
toy.
toy, okay.
Like a plastic spaceship toy that he just
Love
brought
that.
with him to
You should
have.
bring that with you next time you go.
I should have brought something. I should have. We could have bonded
Now you
over
know.
this
You
day.
have so many Star Wars.
I know.
You could have brought that little.
Mask.
There
Yeah,
are like 30 things in this room that I could have brought with me. I know.
Just could have brought all of them in like a little bag.
Yeah, but it was nice. And then I chatted with the guy, and like the guy actually next to me, he had never seen it in theaters ever, right? So it was like for him, it was also really special too. And it was just like, I don't know. It was a
Next
nice
time,
moment.
wear your sit-down shirt.
Advertise.
And then advertise.
Exactly.
Yeah, did you like this movie? Yeah. Anyway, so did you know Sundays at 11?
We're gonna talk
We're gonna
about
talk
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you want to be on our show and talk about your experience too?
yeah. So, anyways, it was beautiful. Fox Theater, thank you for that beautiful experience. And I hope you show more because I'm going to go. And I might go watch Ghost on the 14th of February.
There you go.
How are
Wait, before we continue, do you have an end time that you have to be out of here? Because you can keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 12:25.
Okay, perfect.
The latest.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, good. Yeah, I think we'll probably just chat. And
I'm glad I asked because when we're on air, we just keep
That's
going.
true. We could have kept
We could have
talking.
like a
That's a good
2-hour
point.
episode and we're like, oh, that was fine.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even realize we talk for almost an hour the first.
That's why I wanted to check in because
Yeah,
I know
good
you're
call.
a very busy person.
Well, I was just going to ask you about, because obviously you are also a Jenna Rose Fitness. You are a trainer.
Personal trainer.
So how are things going with all that?
Things are good. I'm just as busy as I usually am.
Love that for you.
I still have my online training group every Saturday at 8:30 online. And then, I have a mix of online clients and in-person clients, which is why I have to leave at like 12:25.
Yep.
But yeah, it's good.
That's
beautiful.
awesome. Do you have any fitness goals for 2024?
Yes. In fact, so we talked about this last year because we said we had you on last year, and we did ask and talk about New Year's resolutions. And I think we all of us agreed we're not really New Year's resolution people. But I did say, even just before the show started, I'm like, even though I don't make New Year's resolutions, there is still something that happens in my brain that when a New Year starts, I kind of feel compelled to be like, okay, I got to make this a good one. I got to make, so I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But I worked out a lot last year. Actually, I worked out last year. I was in the gym for the first almost 6 months of last year. I was in the gym 5 days a week.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then it kind of fell off. Sometimes it would be 4, but for almost the entire, I want to say 3/4 almost of the year, I was in the gym several times a week. And I did, I changed my body. I could see, look in the mirror, I would different shape. It felt great. Felt
And
really
I
great.
think I'm trying to remember last time you were doing legs too, right?
Yes, legs are the one for sure that
I know you didn't want to do it, but I remember we had that conversation about leg day.
Yeah, and just forcing. So I started trying to do some squats and also calf raises.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do some of that. But I did find the last few months of the year, they just got really busy work wise, and it was just hard for me to be consistent. And so I did lose a couple months.
But to be fair, you do a lot of physical work too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the thing. It's not like I was not moving or whatever, but in terms of just I was noticing, because when you do isolated proper whatever decline.
he just wants to show off his muscles right now, and that's why he keeps doing that.
Bicep
But I find when I do say my, what do they call it? Decline bicep curls, right? They really isolate this muscle. And so when I was doing those consistently, I'm like, these are getting
building.
bigger. Yeah, I could see them enlarging. And I noticed I was losing some of that in the last few months of the year. And so my fitness goals this year is just to get back into it. So I started right January 3rd, I think. I've worked out, I think, twice a week the first week, 3 times a week the second week. And so it's been consistent again, which is good.
Good for you.
And
I think it's totally normal to fall off the bandwagon November, December.
Yeah.
Because we're busy.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to be consistent all year. Nothing in nature everything is a cycle. So if you feel motivated now and then you can keep going for the next 9 months, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I think you don't lose everything. I find I've heard that even with muscle building, once your body has built those whatever fibers or whatever happens, it's easier to get it back when you come back again.
Yeah, you have the muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's hardest the first time you do it, but then if you take a break, you'll bounce back really quickly.
Yeah. I've noticed even in
remembers.
this just these first few weeks.
Just him flexing and watching himself on camera. He's like, I see it.
Feeling good. I just like, it's nice. It's nice.
For you.
Yeah. So I wanted to be more consistent with my fitness goals.
Nice.
And more productive with my time.
Awesome.
Which is kind of the same thing I had last year, but just keep going. Just keep going. So, because I guess maybe we should ask, since it is our first guest of the year, it's a brand new year. Do you have any goals for the year, Regine and Jenna, either of you guys?
I think you were, I was like, I'm not a resolution person, but what I started doing even last year was vision boards.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I'm more on I'm always on my phone anyway. So my background, I won't show it on camera, but my background is my vision board. And it was that last year, and I found that it's a little scary. I would put more concerts to go to, and I went to 10 concerts last year. And there's all these things that I had put on my vision board that actually did happen. And as I like towards the end of the year, I'm like, let's go back and look at it. And I realized there's maybe like 3 things on there that did not happen in 2023. So this year I made it more specific because I feel like it was such a broad picture.
Yep.
So this year I did my goal, like my vision for what I want 2024 to be, but I was more specific with the items that didn't happen last year. I'm like, maybe if I'm more like detailed about it,
Definitely.
it's on there. Like the sit down is on there. Our logo is on there. The pageant sit down's on there. Like all these things that are like important in my life. Like, for example, I wanted to grow my event planning business last year, but then halfway through the year, I rebranded where it's not just event planning, it's like hosting and all these things. And then if you notice last year, we ended up hosting more. I ended up hosting more individually. So I was like, oh. So then again, being more specific with what I want on there with more quotes this time instead of just pictures. So that's me. I'm a vision board person.
That's amazing. Do you get it printed out or is it just on your phone?
It's on my wallpaper on my phone.
So do you find it through Pinterest or?
I created it on Canva to be the
Okay.
size of my phone, and then I just grabbed the pictures from Pinterest. It was literally just like dream board pictures or vision board pictures, and I just put it all together. And like I would move my apps so that all the pictures are at the bottom, and then the apps don't cover anything. Because I found that
That's perfect.
Interestingly enough, most of the things that didn't accomplish last year were the ones covered by all the.
So the idea of the vision board then is to like
It's like
literally
manifesting it.
But it's almost like, so you see those things every day. Like you look at the phone and you see, every time you look at your phone, you see the things that you're trying to achieve. Interesting. I didn't realize that part
That's
of it.
amazing. I haven't finished my vision board. For the first time in a long time, I made a vision board with my friend. I didn't finish it though, but same thing. We did it on Canva, and I'm actually gonna, when I finish it, I'm gonna get it printed
I love that.
and put it in because my friend did it already, and put it in a picture frame and then put it in my room.
So it's the
so I
first
can
thing
see
you
it.
see in the morning, the last thing you
Yeah.
see at night. Like I've also seen like vision board parties. I'm like, I want to do that. Like they have like canvases, and then they just like make a whole night out of it.
Oh yeah, because you could do it old school with like cutting out
Copy.
Scrapbooking
from,
style?
scrapbooking and like from magazines and stuff.
And they like Mod Podge it at the end of the night. I'm
Oh,
like,
cool.
that's
So so vision board party. So everybody who wants to make a vision board comes together. They'll make their vision boards together, and then
just have a night out.
I mean that is kind of fun.
like instead of like a paint and wine night, it's like a vision board and wine
And
night.
wine night.
That's so fun. You guys should do that next
I was like, we should do that on the sit
or
down.
the show or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because you mentioned the vision board thing before, but I didn't realize the concept behind it of like having it in your, like, it's literally like there, so you kind of are
So you see it every
reminded of
day.
all the time.
Yeah.
Ah, I didn't realize that part of
I
it.
didn't think about having it on my phone though. That's a really good idea. Maybe when I do it, I'll also put it on the background.
Because you're on your phone a lot anyway. So if
Yeah.
you see it constantly, like it's kind of personal, but it's fine. I'm like, if someone's going to look at my phone, they'll be like, what the heck are all these pictures? But it just helps. Like I know some people put it on like their Instagram or they'll put it somewhere to keep them accountable. I'm like, this is too personal. I'm not going to put this on there.
Yeah, but just for you, just so you see it.
Like we did one for work because we have like a culture club, and they're like, oh, what is our goals for 2024? So I took some of the things and just recreated my vision board, but on like a PowerPoint presentation.
Wow.
That's so fun. I love that your company does that.
Yeah, it was fun. Like last year on my vision board, I was very careful this year because last year I put a picture of my husband and I at Universal just as like a picture of the two of us because it was the most recent one. And then we ended up going back to Universal this past
That's so cool.
like a few weeks ago.
Coincidence?
So, I know. So I was
don't
like,
think
did I
so.
just?
You
I'm like,
manifested
wait
that?
a minute. And we weren't even planning on going. And then he's like, why don't we go back to Universal? We have a few days. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Interesting. So now you're going to be
That is
very
so
careful
cool.
with like
What I put on it.
very specific.
The
Interesting.
universe is listening.
I know. It was a little scary because I was like, because I was
That is
looking
so
at it. I was
cool.
like, oh, damn. I'm gonna be, I put a picture of us from the airplane this time. So
Okay.
it's
It's travel. Okay, I like that. Yeah. It's open ended.
exactly.
I mean, the mind does work in
That's so fun.
mysterious ways.
Right?
So like, yeah. That's why they say the manifesting thing is real, because it's like you almost will subconsciously like pull yourself towards those things, I guess. That's the idea behind it. It's interesting.
How about you, Jenna?
That's so fun.
Thanks.
Oh, for my goals for the year? Well, I need to finish my vision board. Yeah. upkeep my business and my own fitness. But I think now I'm more focusing on my personal goals.
Love that.
I have a lot of like online courses that I purchased last year that I need to work on.
Nice.
One's on investment, one's on numerology and astrology. I'm really into that. So I'm like, I actually have to do these courses now and discipline myself to do a couple hours every day. So that's what's on my
Cool.
board.
So
It's the first time in a long time where I actually don't have my own fitness goals. I feel like I've achieved. Now it's just maintaining it,
Yeah.
which is really neat, which is good. So everything's like automated for me right now
I
Yeah.
love
in terms
that.
of my health.
It's almost more, like now it's the personal growth journey now, you think?
Yeah. And then doing, expanding, getting outside of fitness. And, well, I've already always been into self-help and, like, spirituality. But now, like, I actually have the courses and, like, an investment course. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do a money course.
Cool.
So I
That's
can understand the
cool.
stock market. Yeah. So those are my personal goals.
I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing. We should do our final segment.
Yes.
And it's our first one of the year because you're our first guest of the year. So you've done this before, right?
Should we get her to do this one then?
Right.
I don't know. Like, are we starting
What's the
over?
difference?
Well, there's
No,
just two versions of the game. Yeah, should we just switch to the new one for 2024?
I feel like if someone's already done this one, we should get them to do this one.
Okay.
Part two.
But it doesn't really
Then let's just keep it at that one for now then.
Yeah, because otherwise the scores.
Okay.
I think maybe we need to really nail down.
You know what
we're
I
doing
wanna
with all
do?
of this.
So what I want to do, because I do this with my husband sometimes, or is that full?
No.
Okay. As like, instead of like me doing a vision board for myself, I'm like, why don't we do one as like for us? So what if we did a sit down vision board?
That's not a bad idea. We could finally like figure out like when we're going to do the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship.
Yeah, because I'm a very like visual person, clearly,
Yeah.
and you get distracted easily.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we were
Okay.
to do something like that, we'll have what we want to do.
It might actually
It might actually happen.
Okay, that could be fun.
Let's do it.
Oh, Rosanna says, you don't need a new year or a new day to start over. You only need a new mindset.
Yeah.
I love that.
There you go.
Quoted.
Thanks, Rosanna. All right, everybody. Introducing this year's edition of the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship. All right. I'm going to hand you this. There you go. I guess, I don't need to explain the rules because I guess you know how this works. Okay, it starts with the barrel closed.
On the table.
In fact, okay, so you know what? I haven't done this in a while.
Let's
Maybe I will
refresher.
explain. All right, so I haven't done it in a while. Okay, so starts on the table. We'll put a minute on the timer. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go. You grab the
Then
barrel,
Grab it. Yep.
pour out the monkeys. Okay, you grab a monkey. Use one monkey to pick up another monkey. Use another monkey to pick up another monkey. Use another monkey to pick up another monkey. Now, one rule I kind of do want to change, Regine, for 2024 is
No doubles? Or
I'm actually wondering if we should just allow doubles.
No.
Okay, never mind. If you end up with one monkey on the same monkey like this, so there's two there, that will only count as one. We are counting links in the chain, so that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 monkeys there. Okay, I kind of wouldn't mind changing that rule eventually though when we finally go, because I realize when you have two monkeys on the same monkey,
Okay, fine.
it's actually harder to get additional monkeys
So
with
should we
two
count
monkeys.
it?
Starting now?
I mean, it's the first one of the year. Now is the time to change it or keep it for the rest of the year.
You're right. Okay,
There's
so never
no
mind that
going
part.
back.
So basically it's like this. So we'll try it. Maybe, who knows?
Let's try
Who knows?
it. Yeah.
So what this will mean is that
Are we doing a fresh board then?
maybe not for this one, but we might. If we redo a fresh board, we'll keep Jenna's score.
Okay.
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 And let me just make sure that the cameras are proper for the monkeys. So basically, whatever monkeys you end up with is the monkeys you end up with. Okay. So if you have more than one-on-one,
And
it's fine.
if you get more than you or less than you did the last time you were here, it doesn't count.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay,
No,
score.
less.
Yeah.
So
I said
basically,
if it's less, it doesn't.
So whatever
count.
your score
we'll
was.
keep it at the highest.
Yeah, so if you had 5 monkeys last time, you get 4 this time, you still have 5. So you can only do
Better.
better than before. Okay, so I think we're ready.
Okay, dope.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
she has like 3 minutes. Come on, Scott.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here you go. Here you go.
Okay, tell me when I can start.
All right. Okay. 1 minute is going on the timer. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you nervous?
No.
Okay. Good.
She's like, I gotta go,
You know
Scott.
what? You've climbed a mountain, so you can handle it. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Monkeys have been poured. Seems like a pretty good pour. We're off to a good start. Oh, looking for an opening there. There you go. There you go. 45 seconds remaining.
You got this, Jenna.
There you go. Oh, yeah, we've got this. She's got a good set going here. Good angle on the monkey hand. There you go. Really strong, actually. Ooh, okay, look at this. Ooh, can she get it?
Can I just be safe?
20 seconds
Yeah.
remaining. I mean, you can do whatever you need to, but
We didn't even tell her what her
15 seconds
thing
remaining.
was last year.
It was
Yeah.
fine. For some reason, I think it's
5 seconds.
Ooh.
Time. What are we at?
Do I count the first one?
No.
The one in your hand does not count.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6.
6.
6 monkeys.
I'll take it.
Yeah, let's take a look at the monkey standings and see where you're sitting and how you did last time in comparison. If we go to the monkey standings, so Jenna was previously at, do you see her name there?
It's at 5.
Oh, sorry. I keep stepping on you.
Where is her name?
Maybe I was lower.
Did you remove her, Scott?
No, I
Oh,
don't
Jenna
know.
Rose
There.
Fitness. 4. Oh, I
4.
Wow.
Wow. So you are moving up.
To 2 spots.
6 monkeys was the number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's update the monkey standings here.
How about we do it after?
Neat. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll update it afterwards just because we're kind of in a hurry now. Okay.
So the secret's in the pour. That's what I realized.
The pour is very important.
Your microphone.
Oh.
Oh, yes, the secret is in the pour. The pour is very, very important.
Yeah.
But
No,
congratulations. Good that
Yeah.
you
I'll
I'll just do
improved your
it
score.
right like this.
Yeah.
Right on the top.
So there you go. Already we're starting the year off right.
Mm-hmm.
The monkeys, your
Setting
monkey
new
score.
PRs.
Yes.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Jenna, where can people find you if they want to follow your
Journey.
Journey.
You can follow me on Instagram at Jenna_Rose_fitness or my website, JennaRoseFitness.com. But I'm more live on Instagram.
Boom.
There you go.
There you go. Links are in the description, everybody. Links are in the description. Regine, where can people find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel for The Pageant Sit Down. We are actually celebrating 3 years next week, which is wild to think. So make sure you tune in and see how we celebrate our 3-year special. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at It's Regine Alaina. And if you are looking for pageant coaching, because pageant season has already started, find me on Instagram at pageantcoaching.reginealaina. Links are in
Links
the
in the
description. Scott,
Yeah.
where can people find you?
You can find me right here where you're watching this very video, youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. It's where you get, I just posted a video. We did me and my brother Taylor did an unboxing video, and there he is in the chat. Hi, Taylor. Good morning.
Hey, Taylor.
We did an unboxing video and a review of my new Saber Masters lightsabers.
What we talked about last
It's a lot of
week,
fun. Yes.
or 2 weeks ago.
We did our full out duel. It was an awesome time. Watch the video. It's great. It's there. Hit the like button on all that. Hit the like button on this episode if you enjoyed it. You can also follow me on Instagram and X. Also, follow at Scott Dion Brown. Follow the show, The Sit Down with SDB on TikTok, The Sit Down with SDB on Insta, and Sit Down Scott on X. And you can also find us on Facebook, The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and also listen on several other podcast platforms, including Spotify. So thank you all for tuning in.
Yes.
Jenna, thank you once again so much for being here.
Thanks for being our first guest.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm honored. That was fun.
It was awesome.
I love learning all these different things about like spirituality and just health in general, because you've taught us a lot.
Yes,
I know I've talked about the most random things.
And I love it.
but it's
I love
great.
it.
I think it's a great way to start the year. And we'll get you back on again soon. In fact, we can have you on again. We don't have to wait until next year. We can bring you on later
Yeah.
with you.
Let's do
Whenever
two
you
this year.
have something.
Yeah.
I like it. We'll put that on the vision board.
There you
There you
go.
go. Jenna will be center stage.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button once again. We'll say goodbye. Jenna, we'll let you close out the show. Just grab the mug.
Oh.
And you could say goodbye to the people and then just cheers your mug at the camera.
The way Scott started.
And we'll say
Got it.
goodbye. So bye, everybody. And
Bye.
Jenna, you can take it away.
Happy 2024.